Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I will be sharing how I saved $10,000 in 2020 and how you can save $10,000 in 2021. So this video was requested by one of you lovely folks out there, so I decided to film it. And I'm mainly going to be talking about my own personal experience and how I saved $10,000. This may not fit your lifestyle, this may not work for you. Definitely take this video with a grain of salt. I know that a lot more goes into saving $10,000 than most people share on YouTube. And if you hear a little beeping sound in the background, I'll try my best to get rid of it when I edit this video, but there's construction going on right outside my apartment windows. So the first question that you have to ask yourself is, why do you want to save $10,000 in a year? Is it because you want it as an emergency fund? Is it because you want to go on vacation? Is it just because you just want to build your savings account? Definitely figure out the answer and write it down. Start by writing down your goal and figuring out your why. If you just say that you want to save $10,000 but don't know exactly why you want to save that amount of money, it's going to make it harder for you to commit because you don't even know what you're committing to. Like, a lot of people say, I want to save 10K, but then they really don't know why they want to save $10,000. So write it down on a piece of paper somewhere that you can see it every single day. That way it can serve as a reminder to you whenever you're feeling lost or whenever you're feeling hopeless and you feel like you're not making any progress. You can look down at that piece of paper and remind yourself exactly why you're making the sacrifices that you are. So once you have written down your goal of saving $10,000, try breaking it down further. $10,000 is a lot of money and it can seem very overwhelming, especially if you don't get paid a lot or if you have a lot of responsibilities in your life. So $10,000 divided by 12 months in a year equals $833. So ideally you should be saving at least $833 a month to reach your goal of saving $10,000 in a year. And if that number still seems very daunting to you, you can even break it down for bi-weekly, or even if you get paid weekly, you can break down the 833 by week. That way it's a smaller number that seems feasible. It's still going to be quite large in the grand scheme of things, but it's going to look more feasible and more doable for you. And then write that down on the same sheet of paper that you wrote down your goal and stick it somewhere that you can see so you stay committed to saving $10,000 in a year. The next way that you can save $10,000 is by setting automatic payments. So if you want, you can set up a savings account and automatically have money taken out from your check every time you get paid, or you can do it manually if you want, whatever's easiest for you, but try to have a main checking account and then have a savings account. I found for me personally, whenever I kept my savings and checkings together in one account, it made me less inclined to save because I would see all this money and I'd be like, okay, I can buy this, I can afford this, I can do that. When in reality, I was eating into my savings and I wasn't really saving enough. So when I created my savings account and kept it separate from my checkings, I was able to really notice how much I was spending and how much I actually had saved for a rainy day. I definitely recommend to take your time to look into different banks, into different savings accounts. There's a ton out there. A lot of them do the same things, but a lot of them do differently. And you definitely want to pick a savings account that pays you for having money in there, that pays you interest. You don't want to have your money sitting in a bank account that really doesn't do anything for you. And then the next step in saving $10,000 is to take a very hard look at your expenses. So calculate how much you spend on your bills, calculate on how much you spend on entertainment things like Netflix, Hulu, on how much you spend eating out, on shopping every month. And once you have calculated all of your expenses, figure out what you can live without. Yes, it's nice to have Netflix, but you don't need Netflix. Last night, my husband and I logged into Netflix and a message popped up saying that their prices were going up to $17.99 a month. And that adds up by the end of the year. And we looked at each other and we were like, that's kind of expensive. Do we really even need Netflix? Honestly, we have Netflix, Hulu. Well, Hulu is free because I have Sprint/T-Mobile. But we have Netflix and HBO Max and Amazon Prime, and I'm seriously debating on just keeping Amazon Prime and Hulu because it can get really expensive having all of these different streaming services. So once you have freed up money by getting rid of those things that you don't need, that extra money every month can go into your $10,000 saving goal, and it's going to make things a little bit easier. It can be hard at times because you may see like new shows coming out, or you may see your friends doing fun stuff and they're spending money and you may feel left out, but you just have to stick to your goal and stick to your budget. And by the same token, create a budget. This is so important in order to achieve your goal of saving 10K. I know that a lot of people don't like budgeting. I don't like budgeting, but it's essential in order to achieve your financial goals. Create a budget plan that you stick to every single week. If you are the type of person that you like budgeting for the whole month, then do that. I am the type of person that I like budgeting per week. Well, I like both budgets. I like having an overall monthly budget, but I also like breaking it down by week as well. So definitely create a budget plan that works best for you, that fits your lifestyle. But make sure that once you create this budget plan and once you have established how much money you're putting into your savings goal, stick to it. Don't deviate from your budget. It can get tough because emergencies happen. Sometimes you have to help out a family member, especially with the state of our world, but try your best to stick to your budget plan 99.9% of the time. But when I say create a budget, I don't mean to say that you have to cut out absolutely everything that brings you pleasure in life. I think that it's very important to give yourself little rewards along the way. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the reward system when you study. Like if you read a certain number of pages, you reward yourself by eating chocolate or by going on your phone for 5 minutes. At least that's what I used to do when I used to study in college. And it's very helpful because it keeps you motivated. And I am not a frugal person. I think I should have started off by saying that. I've seen a lot of videos where people are like, you have to be strict with yourself, you can't spend money on useless things and murmur. And I agree somewhat with them. Like, you don't want to be spending more than you're saving, but also I don't want to live a restrictive lifestyle. If I see something that I want and that I can afford it and that's not really going to deviate me from my savings goal, I'm going to buy it. I have people in my life who are super frugal, like my brother-in-law, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that fits your lifestyle, then that's perfectly fine. But what's the point of saving all this money if you die tomorrow and you haven't been able to live your life the way you want it because you're so busy saving? Are you taking this money to the grave? So I do think there needs to be a balance. Obviously, save to achieve your goal, but also don't stop living your life. It doesn't have to be by spending tons of money on a designer bag, but if you want a box of chocolate, or if you want to go out to eat one day out of the 12 months that you're saving with your significant other, then go out and eat. Go have fun. Go relieve some stress, because when you commit to a financial goal, it can be stressful because you're always second guessing every purchase that you make. The next tip that I have is to diversify your streams of income. Saving $10,000 in a year can be very difficult if you're only relying on one stream of income, which is your full-time job, especially when you factor in bills, kids, responsibilities. I relate and I 100% understand that feeling where you don't know how further you can stretch a dollar because you have all these bills that you have to pay, all these things that you have to do. So really take the time to create a side hustle, something that you love, that brings you joy. That way you don't feel like you're burning out. I'm not encouraging like hustle culture. I'm not telling you to work till you die or anything like that. It's extreme. But when you are not getting paid a lot in your full-time job, it is necessary to have a side hustle that will bring you a second stream of income. And social media is a great way to make a side hustle. I know that a lot of people think that they need thousands and millions of followers or subscribers on social media to generate money, and that's actually not the case. I have YouTube down as a stream of income right now. I can't live off YouTube entirely, but I still have a nice flow of money coming in that I can put into my savings, and I don't have a million subscribers, I don't have millions of views on my videos, but I still have that side income coming in from YouTube. Another example is my sister Christy. I love you. She is such a freaking G. Like, I admire her so much. She is such a hard worker. She got laid off back in March of this year, and she didn't receive any unemployment. Unemployment is so broken. There are literally people scamming the system that are getting it, and then the people that actually need it can't get it, which is so bizarre to me, but it's a whole different story. Since she lost her job and since she wasn't getting or isn't getting any unemployment benefits, she didn't let that stop her from doing little side hustles to generate income. And she's so creative. Like, she does hair in Puerto Rico. Now she's selling like little cute chocolate bears that you can pour milk over it and it comes out as hot chocolate. She doesn't do YouTube, she's not like an influencer or anything, but she still found these little side hustles that generate enough income to survive during 2020 and enough income to buy gifts for my niece this Christmas. I don't think that you need millions of followers on social media to generate income, and if you don't want to do social media at all, there are still other avenues that you can use to generate extra income. And then my next tip is not for everyone, and you definitely have to proceed with caution, but it is to invest. Investing is a great way to double your savings earning. I'm not saying to just throw your whole entire savings account into the stock market, but you do want to have a portion of your money or your finances in the stock market, because that is an excellent way to grow your money. My husband and I focus heavily on companies that pay dividends. So what that means is that every quarter you get a certain amount of money based on the number of stocks that you have. So it depends on how much the company pays per share. That's a whole different ballgame, a whole different video. I don't want to confuse you guys or bore you guys if you're not interested in investments, but we like having stocks that pay dividend because that is another side income that we get, and eventually we would love to be able to live off those dividends entirely. But because we invested this year in the stock market, we came out pretty good, and we're still looking pretty good for 2021. And I don't know if I'd be able to say that without have taken the risk to invest in the stock market, and we've been investing in the stock market for a number of years, so this wasn't like our first year going into the stock market. So take the time to read books on the stock market, take the time to research the companies that you're going to invest in, take the time to look at how they've done in the past 5-10 years. Do they have debt? Do they have free cash flow? Take those things into consideration before you pour your money into the stock market, into a company. I think everyone should invest, and it's a shame that a lot of people don't. A lot of people think that they need like a large capital to start their stock portfolio, and that is not the case. You can definitely start small. Your gains might be little at first, but as the years go by, you would definitely see that small sum of money grow into a large sum of money that you can use to buy a house, or you can transfer it over to another stock if you wanted to. I'm not a financial expert. These are just the things that I've done in the past that has helped me reach my financial goals. I'm not perfect. I've made a lot of money mistakes along the way, but I've learned from those mistakes and I don't make them twice. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helps at least one person out there, and if you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more financial videos from me. I know that a couple of you have requested financial videos, and just don't really know where to start and how much to share. So if you guys want to see more videos like this one, definitely let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. It helps me out a ton, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.